No.
No. What are we gonna talk about next week?
I don't know. They could tell us.
Yeah.
Tell us what you want us to talk about.
Put some comments below, and we'll take a topic for next week. We have a list of other topics, so we just pick.
So if you don't want to comment,
randomly.
it's like,
so if you don't comment, we'll make a video regardless. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Marriage Mondays, where we spend Mondays talking about marriage. My name's Amir.
My name is Kamara. Today we're going to talk about spicing up bedroom life after marriage.
Yeah. And to preface this, we'd like to acknowledge intimacy in marriage in Islam is very
private.
Treated as very private, and we're not
sharing any bedroom secrets. That's what Islam says. Like, bedroom secrets stay between husband and wife.
Right.
And unless you're seeking therapy or you're seeking help, you're seeking Islamic knowledge from a scholar or something that will require you to share that information, no one should be going around talking about what they do with their spouse.
Right. So anything that we say is more of a reflection.
Reflection.
Yeah. A reflection is anything that we say is a general statement and just in support of improving your relationships.
Stay tuned at the end of this video where we're actually going to answer anonymous questions. Follow the link in the description below. That way you don't have to worry about commenting and feeling like people are judging your comments. Like Amir mentioned in our last video, in the theme of Marriage Mondays is communication literally is the foundation. It is the key that unlocks happiness.
Or distress.
Or distress.
Okay. So, yeah, but in general, like you said, communication is important. And so to begin this conversation, communication is what's going to help you improve your relation with your spouse.
Yeah.
If you don't like something, or if you want something to go a certain way, you have to communicate that just as you would any other scenario, any other situation in your marriage. And so the first thing that we have for you improving or spicing up your life is that you need to start by communicating.
Communication, it builds understanding. You have to be able to effectively tell your partner what you want. Your partner has to be able to comprehend what you want.
And it also builds trust, right? Trusting your partner and feeling comfortable around them. Being able to be vulnerable, right? Because when you have these conversations, it is difficult in the beginning because
it's awkward.
Yeah, it can be awkward depending on your personality type, and you're a lot. I mean, some people don't care.
Yeah, I guess. I guess.
You're exposing yourself to this vulnerability, and especially if you haven't been intimate before, it can be really daunting and really almost exhausting for you to have these types of conversations. By increasing the communication between you and your spouse, when you are ready to have a conversation about spicing up your life or improving that portion of your relationship, it will be easier to do so. But we're kind of beating around the bush, but what is spicing up your life? What does that mean? So what is how do we make it spicy?
Don't whisper.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, what does
that mean, babe?
Okay, so like we talked about last time, right? Compatibility in the bedroom, right? We're talking about increasing that satisfaction between a husband and a wife. Okay. We're talking about two people being able to experience, sensations, right. and it's like a one-sided thing where it's not just physical spice levels, right? This is also an emotional spice level that's increasing.
In addition to that, your satisfaction in relationships is so important. It's one of the leading causes for divorce.
Oh yeah, This is what we talked about last time.
And here at Marriage Mondays, we spend Mondays talking about marriage because we want to encourage and help people to get married and continue to be married.
Yeah, stay married.
If they're in very, very circumstantial situations, we encourage you to get out of that situation. Now,
get that situationship.
What kinds of things? Maybe not what kinds of things, but when you this is kind of interesting. This is gonna be real interesting.
Yeah, we're keeping things halal.
We're keeping it halal. We're not obviously again.
Yeah.
We have. No, I'm just trying. It's not as easy as you think. So I guess we could start by when is it the appropriate time to start having these conversations?
Day one. Day one. I say day one. After I say day one, and not by like a full critique, but a check-in. You know, a check-in, a simple check-in. A first time, you know, whether it's the first time you're getting married or not, whether it's the first time you're being intimate or not, a check-in is important because it's like how, you know, not like how was I? Ooh, you know.
You know, I'm gonna say that I somewhat disagree with that.
Why?
I feel like, especially for individuals who aren't experienced, I think at that first time, like depending on who the person is, it's like you you put yourself in such a vulnerable position that it's like it's difficult to have those conversations right after that. Like you feel you're maybe you're excited, maybe you feel a little indifferent because you expose yourself to another human, another interaction to you, another person, your spouse, and it's just like like having those conversations right then and there.
Yeah, no, that's
is likely not the best time to have that conversation.
Yeah, and I don't mean like when I say I said no, I said a check-in, you know, and not like a critique, but so like a check-in. Right. So after not immediately.
They finish and they're like, hey. How was I?
No, that's not what I mean.
You know?
That's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. Okay,
let's explain. Explain.
A check-in like by saying things like I guess it is kind of awkward. Like, thank you for trusting me with your body. Yeah, it's kind of awkward.
I guess we've reasoned that.
It's kind of awkward
after the first time.
Okay.
You don't necessarily need to have these conversations, right? Yeah, honestly, I'd say like within the first couple months, I'd say after that it'd be more appropriate to have these conversations because maybe you're experiencing intimacy for the first time, and you want to learn your spouse, learn your partner, learn yourself, right? Like, what do you like? What's the point of having a conversation? You don't even know what you like at this point, right? Maybe you've had one, you've done it once, twice, and it's like, okay, like you don't necessarily know what you actually like what is like how would I improve in that situation, right? So like if it's like the first time, like, oh well, I think that you could have done X, Y, and Z, and you're like, okay, so he does X, Y, and Z, and you don't even like X, Y, and Z, right?
Yeah, and that's fine. You can say, you know what? Let's backtrack. Scratch X, Y, and Z. I don't like that. Yeah, that's fine.
So then you're just dealing with confusion.
It's not confusion. It's a dialogue. It's a back and forth. It's experimentation. It's what you do to spice up your life.
As you're progressing in your experience, right? You automatically start trying new things. Maybe like pushing some of the boundaries that you had before, not haram boundaries.
Yeah, and consensual boundaries.
Right. Remember. Should I say it?
Here, a catchphrase.
Yeah. No bloody tips or poopy sticks. and then obviously as you're experimenting, stay in the confines of Islam. In Islam, we said previously, oral is...
Yeah, I feel like that's something...
is up for debate. You cannot penetrate from the rear or during a menses, and you should enter through the vaginal area. Those are the most strictest actually those are the tenets that you should abide by. And then also, when you're having these conversations, understanding that even though you might want your spouse to do a certain thing, they might not feel comfortable or compelled to do it at that time, or they may never feel comfortable with doing that, and that's also okay, right? Should be you should want to
please your spouse.
Yeah, you should want to please your spouse. It's important in Islam. It's also important that the men be just to the women, and on the other hand, women be just to the men. So the experiencing of satisfaction shouldn't be one-sided.
How do we get to this point? When does the spice start?
But it's like
what does the spice start? Like, how do you increase the heat? How do you turn up the stove?
because like, I mean, for me, the reason why I'm talking about the communication perspective is that there's a large percentage of women who never reach climax during intimacy. There's a lot of, especially Muslim women, who aren't experiencing this, and it's like, so it makes it such that intimacy isn't enjoyable for them. I think it's like an injustice. Like,
it is, yeah,
upon them, and it's a lot easier for men to climax than it is for some or most women, and so it's like men have to kind of apply. You got to apply a little bit more effort so that both parties can experience peak pleasure.
Yeah, and it's not just like physical, like, I mean, yes, obviously, enhancing your physical abilities, gaining more knowledge about what women like, etc. Yes, but also the emotional connection. Like having an emotional connection with your wife is so important.
Yeah.
Telling her like throughout the day, not just when you want to be intimate, but throughout the day, telling her you love her, telling her like she's beautiful, complimenting her, giving her like, flowers or things that she actually likes will help her to build like this love that she has for you.
There's a son of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu
Yeah.
Bring his wife's flowers every Friday.
Yeah.
As a show of affection for his wives. And I think, like you can, like giving hugs and as she mentioned, acknowledging certain things or noticing like subtle changes. Some people have a lot of negative talk, right? And so doing things to combat negative speech about themselves helps to strengthen or not reinforce insecurities, but break down the insecurities that they have. Like making sure that your spouse feels the most comfortable with you, and those things are what increase like spouse's love for you, and it makes it so that like when you're intimate with one another, it's an even more pleasurable and powerful experience between the two.
Yeah, because one thing is like about women is that women tend to be overthinkers, right? And then research shows that one of the reasons why a lot of women can't reach, peak pleasure is because they are overthinking during that time. And it's like having that emotional connection where that emotional validation, also that sense of security where your partner completely trusts you. That like your wife will know that you find them beautiful, that they aren't like hideous, or they don't feel like they're doing something wrong, or like just having that security to just let go and relax.
Certainly avoid like ever calling out someone's insecurities. If you're calling out individuals' insecurities, you're a bad person in general, right? You need to check yourself. Those
words stay in their head.
They stay in your head, and you don't forget those. Like, what other things could help to spice up things? So you have your communication, you have your
non-sexual intimacy.
Right, non-sexual intimacy. Whatever that means.
that means just like the emotional connection, the hugs, the kisses, the hand holding, feeding one another, just these things like when the Prophet, he drank from the cup, he put his lips on the lips of his wife, like those things.
There we go.
Increase,
okay, non-sexual intimacy.
Yeah.
Then you have like in the bedroom, not just pouncing on your spouse, like easing yourself into these things. Right? We're not animals, we're human beings.
Yeah, like there's a hadith that talks about like do not approach your spouse like a donkey, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, this refers to being naked. Right now, you talk to many scholars of Islam, they'll tell you like this refers to not putting your wife in a proper state of arousal, basically, and just and it can cause a lot of pain and a lot of discomfort for a woman, and she will never want to sit with you again. So don't do it. It's probably discomfort on both sides.
Yeah.
So like, don't do that. For newly married people, they're just so excited. They're like, oh, I waited my whole life for this, and then it's like,
just
chill.
Just enjoy your try to take your time and enjoy your experience, right? As you grow again and learn each other, you'll do what you do. And hopefully that's the most pleasurable experience for you too, right? But again, that comes with time, right? Learning your spouse, effectively your sexual desires for one another, and which amounts to more pleasurable experience between the two spouses. Other things that people speak about are introducing devices and toys.
I mean, that's something that you got to talk about to see, like, Islamically, is that something that you both agree upon? Like, is that something that's acceptable? So that's obviously like a conversation that you have to have. Like, do you agree? Like, is this something? But also not to take offense if your partner does introduce something like this. If your partner comes to you and says something like, hey, I want to incorporate this tool, right? This device, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And then someone's like taking it personal, like, oh, well, I should be able to do this without that. But it's like, chill, relax.
I mean, but that also comes into how you present it, right? Like knowing your spouse, like individuals react similarly in most situations, right? So if you're asking them something and they're always on the defensive, that is who they are. They're going to be defensive regardless.
Oh, yeah. So in that situation, how would you even introduce it?
I mean, you introduce it like you do anything else. You could preface it and like that, and provide them with, validation,
personal,
right? And validation that, oh, blah blah blah. I like what you're doing, blah blah blah. But I'd like to experiment a bit and try X, Y, Z, right? And they'll take it how they may, but you have the conversation. You're married, right? It's like at some point you have to have difficult conversations, right? More of these conversations, right? With more communication, these conversations will become easier, right? And if they're asking you or demanding that you do something that you're unwilling to do, you have to put your foot down, right? Like, don't continue to bend to the needs and wants of someone else. Like if it's like going like far against of what you want to do, because then you start to feel you'll start to feel yourself like a tool. Like I'm just like I'm just doing whatever it takes to satisfy the needs of this person.
Yeah, just like an object and not like a person.
Exactly. And so that's why it's like it's a give and take. You should ask them, right? Like is there anything that you want or like you desire, right?
Yeah.
As well. And then you can have more deeper conversations about introducing toys if you are in agreement with that, or devices, whatever that may be.
I do want to mention though, like when it comes to spicing up your life in your bedroom, similar to like what we mentioned earlier, which is like stay within the bounds of Islam, right? There is no one who will tell you Islamically it is acceptable for you to introduce porn into your marriage life. Like whether it's for you, like if you're trying to use it as an excuse, like this is the only way me and my partner could become, like in the mood. It is never acceptable Islamically for that to be used as an excuse, no matter how you try to paint it. Pornography only damages marriages. Like,
a lot of individuals are struggling with porn and porn addiction. So, do your best to seek out help if you can. And, we're praying that, may Allah make it easy on you and allow it, and allow you to rid yourself of this addiction.
Yeah, because marriage is not going to take your addiction away. Okay, anonymous question time. I like someone of a different race/ethnicity, and he's Muslim, of course, but my mom still says at times to marry someone of my race and ethnicity, what do I do? I think a lot of times for these kind of topics, it's like, one, I feel like, okay, I'm going to give you just a very clear-cut black and white answer. It's like, at the end of the day, your parents cannot deny someone based on their race/ethnicity, culture, whatever, right? So at the times, like you go to a sheikh, you go to an imam, you go to someone of knowledge who you can use to convince your parents of, like, hey, stop being racist.
You should try and prepare that individual, right? And but stick with it and actually like fight for like what you want.
Exactly.
Right? Preparing them for that, right? And if it's just that they're a different color and they're still of the same race or ethnicity, then I'd say they already understand your culture. So just fight for what you want. So and be respectful to your parents and at the same time.
Yeah.
All right, what's the next one?
I think that's it. That's it. Yeah, that's
All
it.
right. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.